Hi guys, and welcome to another Chapel Day with me, Miss K, and have I got a story for you today. Aren't you super excited? I am too. So this week's story is about a little guy named Joshua. Now he's not such a little guy. He actually had a really big job. He was in charge of getting all of the Israelites to the promised land. Now, I don't know if you remember, but Moses, back whenever he was in Egypt, his job was to free all the slaves. That's what he wanted to do. That's what God told him to do. So Moses freed all of the slaves, and they crossed the Red Sea. Now, they're stuck in the desert. That's not the promised land. I don't think so. I don't think you think so either. What do you think? Is that the promised land, the desert? No. So, now their job is to get from Egypt to the promised land. And that is a really long journey. It takes them 40 years. Now, while they're out in the desert, a lot of not so cool things happen to them, and the Israelites don't take it that well either. They complain a lot and they tell God that he's not listening to them. God tells them, sorry guys, you have to wait. I want your hearts to be happy whenever you get to the promised land. And I want you to trust me. All you have to do is listen and obey. Now, I know that sounds like kind of a silly word, obey. That's kind of a different word for us. We don't hear that a lot. So obey is just a really fancy word for listening and following directions. Now, I know you hear it all the time. All the time. All the time. But I want you guys to learn that even the people in the Bible had to listen. They had to follow directions. Otherwise, they didn't get to do the awesome things that God wanted them to do. Just like the Israelites, they weren't listening to God, so they didn't get to go to the promised land for 40 years. So, they didn't get to go to the promised land, right? But they eventually did, after 40 years of being in the desert. So while they're in the desert, Moses gets really old and he dies. But he put Joshua in charge of the entire Israelite army. And so he became in charge of this entire group of people. And it was his job to get them from the desert to the promised land. That's a pretty big job. So he has to get them from the desert to the promised land. And now here's the story of Joshua. So here's our friend Joshua. Say hi to Joshua. So Joshua was a really awesome guy. And he was actually the leader of the Israelite army. Now, one day, God talks to Joshua, and he tells Joshua that he's going to lead the people of Israel to the promised land, but it's going to be really hard. And Joshua got really, really scared. But God said, don't be afraid, because I will be with you always. And that made Joshua feel a lot better. So he said, all right, let's do it. So Joshua sent 2 spies to explore the land and the great city of Jericho. The spies reported back and said, truly God has handed all of the land to us. The people of Jericho are terrified. We got this. So they had to carry the ark with them. And whenever they crossed the river, God made the river dry up so they could cross on dry land. When the people reach Jericho, God tells them what to do, and they obey. They march around the city for 6 long days. And on the 7th day, God tells them to march around the city 7 times. That was 1. Here comes 2. Ready for 3? 4. Now 5. Then comes, 6. Then lastly we have 7. Then all the priests blow their horns and all the people shouted really loud. Good job. The walls of Jericho fall down. That's awesome. Good job, guys. Joshua and his people obeyed God, and God gave them the promised land. I don't know about you guys, but I love that story. Not to mention, it's pretty fun to knock the walls down. So I have some things I want y'all to think about this week. So I want you to think about really listening to your teachers, and not just listening to them because it's what we tell you to do, but listening to them and figuring out why you listen to them. Do your teachers ever tell you to do something that's going to get you hurt? Everything they do is to make you happy. Everything they do is to let you have fun and to keep you safe. So why do we listen to our teachers? Is it just because they're older than us and because our moms and dads tell us to listen to them? No, it's because they want to have fun with us. They want to get to do cool things, and they want to keep us safe because they have this really cool idea, But if we're not listening, we're probably not going to get to do the really cool idea. So this week, I also have a really fun activity for us to do. So I really love the story of Joshua, so much so that I want y'all, because I can't be there with you, so you've got to do it for me. I want y'all to knock the walls down yourselves. So I want you to get some things together. You can get magnet tiles, you can get building blocks, you can get Legos, whatever you can find in your room. You can use some of your baskets. I want you to make a castle, and you're going to make your trumpets just how they had their instruments that they took along with them all those days. So I want you to make your instruments. So I have trumpets for y'all to make. And then whenever you get to that last time around, you're going to blow the trumpets really, really loud, just like Joshua and all of his friends did in the Israelite army. I want y'all to blow the trumpets as loud as you can. And I want to see if those walls don't come crashing down. And if they don't, guess what? You can knock them down yourselves. It's all going to be fun. But the thing is that you're going to have to be patient and listen and obey your teachers and follow their directions. Otherwise, a really fun activity could turn into a not so fun activity. And we never like that, do we? So this week, your challenge is to knock some walls down, listen to your teachers, and have a lot of fun. I am so excited to see all the awesome videos of y'all knocking your walls down. I can't wait to see them. That's all I have for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!